For the last 20 years, the standard recipe for home energy independence has looked exactly the same. You bolt up some solar panels, wire in a battery, and hope the wind takes care of the rest on its own. But if your entire energy strategy stops there, if everything you know about wind power is that it is the spinning thing on the field, outside the highway, you're missing one of the most powerful and most misunderstood assets available to any homeowner who is serious about cutting the cord permanently. The problem with wind is not the physics. The problem is that the average home installer never takes it seriously. It is always solar first, battery second, and wind is at best an afterthought. And that is a catastrophic miscalculation, because solar and wind are not competitors. They are a perfect pair. The dark, overcast, brutally short winter days when your battery bank is slowly draining itself into nothing are exactly the days when wind blows hardest, while your solar panels sit completely idle and produce zero. A correctly sized wind turbine is pumping power straight into your batteries around the clock, 7 days a week, completely independent of where the sun happens to be sitting in the sky. The centralized grid is more vulnerable right now than it has been in decades. Aging infrastructure, utility rates climbing faster than most families can absorb, extreme weather events stress testing the absolute limits of what centralized systems can actually handle. But choosing the wrong wind turbine, falling for an online listing that promises kilowatts you will never actually see in the real world, is an equally expensive mistake. Today we are breaking down the 5 best wind turbines for homeowners, the exact aerodynamics, the real-world annual energy output, and the specific off-the-shelf products you can buy right now to turn the wind above your property into a permanent, tireless, weather-independent power source that works hardest exactly when everything else stops working. Number 5. The Primus Wind Power AIR 40. To kick off the list, we are starting with the entry point into serious residential wind generation, and understanding why this product earns its place requires a brief confrontation with the most frustrating reality in the small wind industry, which is marketing deception. Walk through any online retailer selling home wind turbines today, and you will find hundreds of products claiming 500 watts, 1,000 watts, 2,000 watts of clean residential power. What those listings almost never tell you is the wind speed at which those numbers were recorded. The rated wattage is measured at a specific, often extremely high test wind speed that most residential properties will see only a handful of times per year. A turbine claiming 1,000 watts might achieve that at 28 miles per hour. In the real world, at the 10 to 14 mile per hour average wind speeds that most American properties actually experience, that same turbine might be producing 50 watts. This is the hidden tax on bad wind turbine purchases, and it has burned thousands of homeowners who trusted the headline number without understanding what it actually means. The Primus AIR 40 earns its spot because it operates with genuine engineering honesty. It produces 40 kilowatt hours per month at a 12 mile per hour average wind speed, a real-world number that matches what an actual residential site delivers. The 3-blade rotor spins on a direct drive permanent magnet alternator with no gearbox and no brushes, meaning there are no mechanical wear components waiting to fail. An advanced microprocessor controller manages the entire power curve without any mechanical braking system that could wear out over time. With over 150,000 units sold across 120 countries, the AIR family is the most field-proven small wind platform on the planet. You can pair this turbine with your existing solar array for roughly $1,600 to $1,800 and immediately begin capturing the wind energy that your solar panels are completely blind to. Number 4, the Aeolos H5 kilowatts. Where the AIR 40 is the intelligent entry point, our number 4 spot goes to the turbine that makes the leap into genuine household-scale power generation. And to understand why a 5 kilowatt turbine represents such a dramatically different proposition, you need to understand the single most important and most ignored law in wind energy, which is the cube law of wind power. Wind energy does not scale linearly with wind speed. It scales with the cube of wind speed. When wind speed doubles from 7 miles per hour to 14 miles per hour, the available power does not double. It increases by a factor of 8. This is why small differences in cut-in wind speed have enormous real-world consequences for annual energy yield. A turbine that starts spinning at 5 miles per hour versus one that requires 8 miles per hour is not marginally better. In a typical wind environment, it captures a staggeringly larger share of the total energy available throughout the year. The Aeolos H5 kilowatt horizontal axis turbine is built on exactly this principle. Its 3-blade direct drive rotor, spanning nearly 16 feet in diameter, begins generating power at just 5.6 miles per hour and reaches rated 5,000 watt output at 26 miles per hour. A proprietary low RPM generator and advanced PLC control system replaced the older tail vane designs traditional small turbines relied on, delivering more consistent power across a wider range of conditions. Triple redundant safety protection means this turbine operates automatically in adverse weather without requiring your attention. At a site averaging 12 miles per hour, an Aeolos 5 kilowatt installation produces approximately 8,000 to 10,000 kilowatt hours annually, with installed costs typically ranging between $15,000 and $25,000 depending on tower height and site conditions. Number 3, the Rise Energy E5. When we shift focus to the engineering quality divide that separates genuinely durable residential wind hardware from turbines that quietly disintegrate after a few harsh winters, we run into the single most important hidden variable in the small wind purchasing decision, which is drivetrain architecture. The vast majority of small wind turbines use a gearbox to step up the slow rotation of the rotor blades into the higher speed conventional generators require. A gearbox means gear teeth. Gear teeth mean lubrication. Lubrication means degradation. In a turbine mounted 60 feet above your property, spinning continuously through freezing temperatures and mechanical stress for years, a gearbox is a scheduled failure point that will eventually force you to absorb a significant repair bill or decommission the turbine entirely. The Rise Energy E5 completely eliminates this failure pathway through a direct drive permanent magnet generator that removes the gearbox from the equation entirely. The rotor turns, the magnets spin directly around the stator, and electricity is generated with zero gear mesh, zero lubrication requirements, and zero gearbox-related maintenance intervals. Cut in. Wind speed is an exceptionally low 4.5 miles per hour, meaning this turbine begins feeding your battery banks at wind speeds that leave most other turbines sitting completely motionless. Configurable controller electronics allow the E5 to interface with both battery-based off-grid systems and grid-tied applications, and a structural survival rating of 134 miles per hour covers virtually every non-hurricane wind event a residential property in the continental United States will ever encounter. Number 2, the Bergey XL 10. This one belongs to a category the broader residential renewable energy industry has been trying to dismiss for years, and that dismissal is costing serious off-grid homeowners a staggering amount of long-term generation potential. The Bergey XL 10 is not a new product. It has been installed at over 2,500 sites worldwide since 1983. And that longevity is not a weakness. It is the single most important qualification any residential wind turbine can have. To understand why, you need to understand the fundamental credibility crisis at the heart of the small wind industry. The market is flooded with products from manufacturers who have been in business for 3 years and are promising 20-year operational lifespans. A wind turbine is a continuously operating mechanical machine subjected to real physical fatigue forces every single day of its operational life. A warranty from a company without a multi-decade proven track record of honoring those claims is not a warranty. It is a marketing document. Bergey has been manufacturing and continuously refining this turbine platform for over 40 years. The XL10 features a 3 moving parts design with full pultruded fiberglass blades and a passive auto-furl storm protection system that automatically pivots the turbine out of extreme wind with no sensors, no actuators, and no software that could fail at 2 a.m. during a December ice storm. The direct drive permanent magnet alternator requires no scheduled maintenance beyond biannual visual inspections. At a 13 mile per hour average wind site, the XL10 delivers 15,000 to 18,000 kilowatt hours annually, enough to cover the full electrical consumption of a typical total electric American home. Installed cost runs from $28,000 to $48,000 depending on tower height and site conditions. A homeowner who spent $40,000 on a Bergey system in 2001 has, in many documented cases, not paid a utility bill since. That is the compounding financial power of a mechanically honest long-life generation asset. Number 1. The Bergey XL 15. This is the absolute king of residential wind generation right now. The Bergey XL 15 is the newest and most technically advanced product in the company's lineup, co-developed with direct support from the United States Department of Energy, and it delivers a performance leap over its predecessor that is not incremental. It is transformational. The XL 15 features a 31-foot rotor diameter, a full 8 feet larger than the XL 10, sweeping over 72 square meters of sky. And because wind power scales with the square of rotor diameter, that size increase does not produce a linear output gain. It produces a dramatically disproportionate gain in energy capture. The XL 15 produces 85% more annual energy output than the XL 10 at a comparable wind site at a similar price point. Bergey states this turbine cuts the payback period of a residential wind investment by more than 50%, finally allowing a made-in-America wind turbine to compete head-to-head on economics with imported solar systems. The blades are carbon fiber, delivering structural stiffness and low rotational inertia that allows the rotor to begin accelerating at lower wind speeds and reach rated output more efficiently. The direct drive permanent magnet generator runs on just two primary moving parts, the simplest drivetrain architecture of any turbine in its performance class. The passive auto-furl overspeed system maintains fully automatic storm survival with no active electronic control systems that could fail at the exact moment you need them most. At a 13 mile per hour average site, the XL 15 can deliver enough annual generation to power a full total electric home, charge an electric vehicle, and still have capacity remaining. The pursuit of true energy independence has always been about stacking complementary generation sources against each other so intelligently that the weakness of one is always covered by the strength of another. Wind does not sleep when the sun goes down. Wind does not take the winter off. And a correctly chosen, properly sited wind turbine does not degrade, does not lose capacity, and does not require a software update. It simply turns, quietly, continuously, and completely indifferent to whatever the utility company decides to charge you next month. If you are ready to pair these wind generation systems with the right battery storage technology, then you will definitely want to check out our breakdown of the 5 best home energy storage options available right now. Or take a look at our video on the 5 most innovative solar panels that are completely changing the economics of residential generation in 2026.